Hi everyone, it is 1911 and the Canadian Pacific Railway is riding high on a wave of success, boasting a fleet unmatched in size and diversity, from fine transatlantic liners to grand express trans-Pacific steamers. Included in this massive fleet of liners and cargo ships included a diverse array of smaller vessels that serviced many isolated communities. Among these smaller vessels included an impressive fleet of paddle steamers. And today we're going to look at one of those paddle steamers. We're going to take a look at the Bonnington. The Bonnington was built in 1911 at a cost of $160,000. And it was built for the Arrow Lake Run. In terms of specifications, while it was small by ocean liner standards, the Bonnington was an absolute behemoth when it came to paddle steamers. It weighed 1,700 gross tons and was 202 feet or 61 meters long, 39 meters or 39 feet rather, or 11 meters wide, and had a draft of 1.3 meters. The Bonnington was the first of three superb and large paddle steamers serving the Arrow Lakes communities, and therefore was fitted out with the ultimate in contemporary luxury. Unfortunately, though, the Bonnington was almost too large for the service. It would also be accompanied by a very similar sister ship named Nasukan, which in turn would be followed by an even slightly larger sister vessel by the name of Sycamus. During the summer peak, these vessels would be running at capacity. But in between those peak times, it was hard to find employment for a vessel with such a large passenger capacity. The Bonnington could take up to 400 passengers. However, the Bonnington ran and serviced the lakes communities for almost 20 years. And in 1931, it was sold and its passenger accommodation was stripped out and operated as a cargo vessel. In 1942, the Bonnington's engines and boilers were removed and fitted on its near sister, the Nasukan, which enabled it to run for several more years, before being wrecked in 1948. The Bonnington, now demoted as a barge, would eventually be tied up, left to rot, and would ultimately sink at its moorings. It is now considered one of the largest freshwater wrecks in British Columbia. While these three vessels, the Bonnington, the Nasukan, and the Sycamus, represented the peak of the paddle steamers, we are fortunate that one of them, the Sycamus, is still preserved and can be visited as a museum ship, where its vast size and luxury can still be appreciated. However, it should be noted that it is preserved in its latter cut-down configuration, without its original 4 decks. The Bonnington was a fine paddle steamer. And if you're interested in learning more about Canadian Pacific vessels and their wide array and diverse fleet, a simple reference is this one by Duncan Hawes as part of his Merchant Fleets series. And if you want a detailed look at the sternwheeler service of the Canadian Pacific, you cannot go any further than this one, Sternwheelers and Steam Tugs by Robert Turner. This is part of a 3-volume set that includes all the other vessels of the Canadian Pacific, including their transatlantic and transpacific liners, as well as their Princess-class vessels and onwards. But for information about the Bonnington and its sister ships, this is the book to get. The Bonnington is even on the front cover. I find the story of paddle steamers absolutely fascinating, and if there's any other paddle steamers you would like to learn more about, please let me know in the comments below.